everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Crime and Coffee Couple. My name's Allison.
And my name's Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Hey, I was looking at some of our past video recordings, and I noticed that I kind of awkwardly look away from the camera, like I'm kind of looking over here. So people might think I'm kind of awkward. And so, yeah, go ahead and look back the last 2 or 3 episodes, and you'll see me like talking and like looking over here at nothing. There's like
kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So, but besides that, I'm feeling pretty good.
Good. Yeah, we had a nice family dinner at the Cheesecake Factory.
We sure did. And real quick, let's talk about the elephant in the room. I apologize if Allison seems a little perturbed because I broke wind right before this episode.
No, you broke more than wind.
Well, it's interesting because you're laughing a lot more now than you were about 3 minutes ago.
It was more like you broke tornado in the tiny office that we record in.
Yeah. Well, I ran out after I did it, so it
freaking.
You know how it stays in
a-hole.
your shorts, and then
I don't. Nobody wants to hear about how your wind stays in your shorts.
Well, I think I did a great job of keeping it out. So.
And disrespectful and rude.
Oh man, you should have seen her. I wish I was recording.
Oh, I was so pissed off.
She was like, "Why the f would you do that?" And I agree, I shouldn't have. But
it's
it was
so stupid.
Well, here you go, kids. As you get older, I'm 43 now, so things are just they happen in your body.
No, they do not just happen in your body. You're not 85 years old.
I can't wait till I'm old enough, like older, like 70 or 80, where I could just walk and just go ahead and let it all go,
I mean, we'll be walking in our neighborhood and you're ripping ass. And I'm like, what the F is wrong with you? I'm like, you're not like a senile old man, asshole.
Oh, man, I'm treated so well. I don't know why I don't stray. I know why I don't stray now because I'm treated so well.
You got the goods right here.
Sure do.
Where your bread is buttered.
That's right. So, yeah, we did go to the Cheesecake Factory. This is the first time we've been out to dinner outside of like vacations in like we said about 6 months or so.
Probably.
We told our kids, we are going to do this at least once a month because it's so nice.
Yeah, it is.
Our kid was like, don't we do it every month? We're like, no. We haven't done this in 6 months.
We know it was that long ago because they were picking out their school shoes. So it was like August.
Yeah. So it was nice. It was nice to get out.
Yeah.
The teenage boy, it was a lot more fun and bubbly and all that stuff. He didn't just like take his food and house it down and then run into his room
to play his video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just more kind of homebodies, I guess you could say, like on the weekend, because we're out at the baseball fields for his baseball, and then like finally we're done podcasting, and then you just want to get in your cozies and plop on the couch.
Snuggle up,
but
right.
It was fun getting out.
It was good.
Yeah.
I just took my business trip, finally home, was gone for like 3 days. So
yes,
thanks for holding down the fort.
I was happy to do it.
Yeah, you did a fine job. Did you enjoy it like you do sometimes?
It was hectic. There was a lot going on, so there wasn't really much time to just kind of kick back and enjoy it per se.
Yeah.
I think it's always good to have, a little time away here and there from the partner and do your own thing here and listen to what you want or watch what you want on TV, not have a person snoring next to you.
Oh, so you slept better. Did you have
actually, no. My sleep scores were, one of the nights you were gone, they were really good.
Oh.
But then one of the nights you were gone, they were terrible. So it's not your fault.
I should probably stay away for like a month so we can get like a good scientific information.
No.
Okay.
No.
You like me there.
I do. I like you here,
That's
Mike.
good. That's
I do.
Good. I just want to say thank you to all of our listeners and stuff. We're up to like 49 patrons now. So if you want to be the 50th, go ahead and sign up.
Yeah, you could be lucky number 50.
Yeah, but I want to say thanks for all those reviews. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Audible, Amazon Audible, this particular review is from Christy. It says, love, love, love. I love listening to you both. Mike, I love your dirty yet humorous mind. So, Christy, hopefully you didn't mind that breaking wind comment.
Wind.
I love saying that, by the way.
It's like, again, that's something like an old person would be like, oh, I broke wind.
Right. I thought that would be funny.
So
and
nailed
it, by the way. Nailed it. And Allison, love the Amazon reviews you do. I've gotten a few Amazon items from you, so thanks. You both make me laugh, and I appreciate your down-to-earth chat before you get into the stories. Love how you both tell stories, though, Allison, you're my favorite as you tell the stories so flawlessly.
Oh, thank you.
I'd have to agree. Allison also does much better on the TikTok side of things. I think I've done like 4 TikToks and they get like almost no views.
Oh, stop it.
Yours fire up. So yeah, I throw a little curveball in here. Something a little bit different. So I got a story coming up. You guys will enjoy.
I'm excited because I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I've listened to all your episodes and I promise, when I can afford it, I will become a Patreon, but just not able to do so yet, which is totally cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah. Thanks again for making me love your podcast. You're my first podcast I've ever listened to, and I'm hooked. So super awesome. Thank you so much for the comments.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and every review helps us out. It's a great free way to help us out. So thank you so much. And it all the Apple Podcasts and Spotify, they look at us more, and we're taking off on Spotify. So hey, thanks a lot, Spotify. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Anything else to add here, young lady?
I don't think so.
Okay, you look lovely. So.
Aw, you're so sweet.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Even though you break wind in the tiny office.
Well, I think I made my way back, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Yeah.
This is what almost 21 years of marriage looks like.
How many expletives did you call me in this episode alone? I think a-hole. Did you
I think
drop
that's
an F-bomb?
No, I think I did.
Probably. We'll
in my
review the tape.
rage, I kind of blacked out.
Yeah, we'll review. That happens a lot. So.
What did you used to call farts? You used to say something. I was like, don't ever say that again.
No idea. Maybe we'll think about it.
And also, while we were setting up the office, you were singing the thong song.
Oh, I haven't heard that in a long time. Why did that come up?
I think I was humming it or something.
Oh, no, we were talking about dump trucks. We talked about
dump trucks,
big butts,
yes,
and our daughter was like, is there a song that says dump trucks? I'm like, dumps like a truck. What? Good baby, move your butt. But let me sing it again. She got dumps like a truck.
And I was oh, I hated that song so much.
And now it's in my head. So now it's in your head. Enjoy.
All right. So on that note, we're going to go ahead literally on that note.
All night long.
We're going to go ahead and get started here, Mike. So bring it in. Okay. Reel it in.
Here we go.
So this is a listener suggestion. Actually, it's my coworker, a friend of hers that I've actually never met, but I hear a lot of nice things about. She suggested this case. Thank you, Maria. This is the Idaho college murders. And
this is the big one.
I'm sure all of us have heard of this in some way, shape, or form. I have to tell you that lately I have not been up to date on news because I'm working out in the morning and I'm working and I'm rushing off to work.
And I think a lot of us has maybe heard bits and pieces of it. I've heard zero. So, but yeah, you want to put it all together. So you have everything up to date as of right now. That's
actually exactly how I pictured it. There's probably a lot of pieces here and there. We're going to put them all together and make a jigsaw puzzle here.
Okay.
It's not going to be pretty. So in an off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho at the University of Idaho, and it's interesting because I wasn't sure how they pronounced it. It's actually spelled just like Russia, Moscow.
Oh.
But they pronounce it Moscow.
Interesting.
So at the University of Idaho, 5 girlfriends lived together on King Road. It was 21-year-old Madison, or Maddie Mogen, who was a senior. She was majoring in marketing. Her best friend, 21-year-old, also a senior, Kaylee Goncalves, who majored in general studies. 20-year-old Xana Kernodle, she was a junior and a marketing major, and 2 other girls who they only recently came forward and gave their names and showed their pictures and all of that. This is Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. On the night of Saturday, November 12th, 2022, Maddie and Kaylee headed out to the Corner Club, which is a sports bar in Moscow, Idaho. The 2 are considered the inseparable duo. Maddie was described as compassionate and happy-go-lucky, while Kaylee was said to be very strong and driven. Xana and her boyfriend, 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, headed out to the Sigma Chi house where Ethan was a member. Friends said that they were the perfect pair and had an unstoppable, loving relationship, which I think at age 21, it's so refreshing and lovely to see like a solid relationship of 2 people who are in love. It's just so heartwarming to me. I'm just like, oh, I love young love.
I love love.
Exactly. Especially when it's young and there's just so much ahead. The 2 other roommates, Dylan and Bethany, also went out that night in Moscow. And Xana and Ethan, they saw them at the fraternity house. So at some point in time, they themselves made it over to the Sigma Chi house. And they remember seeing Xana and Ethan right around 9 p.m. that night. So video footage from the Corner Club showed Maddie and Kaylee there between 10 p.m. and 1:30 a.m. They were later seen on video at Grub Truck, which is a local food truck. They were seen on this footage at around 1:40 in the morning. Grub Truck is interesting. They have live stream video on Twitch, so it's just constantly streaming from what's going on in front of their truck.
That's kind of cool because then you can kind of see if your friends are there. You can pop on, look at Twitch, be like, oh yeah, look who's there.
Yeah, and I was saying too, I'm like, that's kind of interesting because like if I don't want somebody to know where I am, poof, there I am.
You don't go to the Grub
live
Truck
stream. I guess not. And with it, you can actually hear the audio. Like I could hear what they ordered that night. So they ordered their food, they got it, and then they used a private person to get them home at about 1:56 a.m. in the early morning hours of now Sunday, November 13th. Xana and Ethan arrived home just about this time as well. Ethan didn't live at the house. He was just staying the night with Xana. I could very closely relate to this because Mike and I went to college together.
Yep, did that quite a bit.
So, I never stayed at your house because it was an absolute shithole.
Yeah, it turns out I didn't learn that you had to wash your sheets like more than every 6 months.
Yeah, we didn't wash sheets, we didn't clean bathrooms, so Mike would sometimes spend the night at my place. So that's what Ethan was
surprisingly,
doing.
that was always nice and clean.
Yeah, exactly. So Dylan and Bethany had returned home right around 1 a.m. So we're all home now 1:45 in the morning. At approximately 4 a.m., Xana received a contactless DoorDash delivery to the house. It was left on the porch.
And that's like, that's typical in a college town. You've got all these restaurants open all night long because everybody's out drinking or partying, doing whatever. And 4 a.m. DoorDash delivery sounds absolutely insane as a person living in the suburbs.
4 a.m. is when I start my morning for work.
Right.
So, it's just the difference between a 20-year-old and a 40-year-old.
Right.
So this is typical. Like you said, restaurants are making their money at this time because people are wanting to absorb the alcohol they've consumed and get some food in their stomachs. So Bethany was asleep in her bedroom on the east side of the first floor of the home. Dylan was asleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. She woke up around this 4 o'clock hour. She heard what she thought was Kaylee playing with her dog, Murphy. And Kaylee would be up on the third floor, so one floor above where Dylan is at this point. She heard her, playing around with her dog. And then a short time later, she heard who she thought was Kaylee say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." But it could have been Xana on her phone, as records show that she was on TikTok at around 4:12 a.m. At 4:17 a.m., a security camera from a neighbor's house located less than 50 feet from the west wall of where Xana's room was picked up a distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog was also barking during this audio clippage. Dylan looked out of her bedroom when she heard a comment about someone being there, but she didn't see anything. She opened the door a second time when she thought she heard crying coming from Xana's room, because Dylan was on the same floor as Xana, so she'd be able to hear more clearly to Xana's room. At that point, she heard a male's voice say something like, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Again, there was a male in the house. Ethan was there.
Right.
So, it's 4 in the morning
and this, maybe Xana had, fallen or something or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So when she heard this, she opened her door now for a third time, and she actually saw a man wearing black clothes and a mask that covered his mouth and nose. He was walking towards her. He was described as 5'10" or taller. He was a male. He was not very muscular, but he was athletically built and with bushy eyebrows. He walked past her as she stood frozen in shock as he headed toward the back sliding glass door. She didn't recognize this person and quickly locked herself in her bedroom. This is when investigators believe that the murderer left the scene.
Wow. So she watched the murderer.
The murderer literally was walking towards her, walked past her, and exited through the sliding glass door.
So he was after somebody, I'm guessing Xana or something.
We don't know.
So he saw her, knew that he could kill her, and just
I am not
100%
certain if he saw her. He literally walked past her.
Okay.
So she clearly saw him. She was able to very clearly define his build, his height, the fact that he had bushy eyebrows.
And it wasn't dark enough where she didn't know if she knew him or not. She did not know him.
She knew she did not know him. She saw that he had these bushy eyebrows.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense. So
I imagine it couldn't have been pitch black because she saw certain features. Based on all of the gathered information, investigators believe that the murders occurred between 4 and 4:25 in the morning. Later that morning, Dylan and Bethany called friends to the house because they thought that one of their roommates from the second floor, who had to be Xana because she was the only roommate that lived on that floor, had passed out and wasn't waking up. At 11:58 in the morning on November 13th, police received a 911 call from one of the roommates' phones. They didn't specify whether it was Dylan's or Bethany's. They were requesting help for an unconscious person. Responding officers found 4 deceased victims at the house.
Wow.
Police were obviously confused as to why it took 8 hours for them to be called because, Dylan's explaining what happened, and that's where they're getting this 4 to 4:25 in the morning. That approximately during this time is when the murders happen, and Dylan is explaining that she saw this man, but then they're not getting a call until almost noon, 8 hours later.
So they're like, what the hell happened between then?
Yeah, so they were confused. They were unsure if it was an issue of intoxication and or fear.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she probably just locked herself in a room, passed out, and then, 10 o'clock rolls around, you're kind of stretching in bed, kind of maybe forgot the night before, blacked out, who knows?
We all know that they were out. Nobody knows what was consumed, nothing like that, and there's no judgment. They're all college-age children. They're allowed to be drinking, but...
I wouldn't call them children then.
Well, 2021, let's say that.
Okay.
So maybe not legal age, but we all know what happens on college campuses. Let's just say that. I don't know whether intoxication was a thing or not. Also, something that I read is that you don't expect for there to be a murderer in your house. That's just not something that your brain goes to. They actually brought up a woman who's now around 50 years old when she was in college. Something happened to this effect to her. She thought when she called 911 that her roommate had literally choked on her vomit. She did not, in her brain's eye, recognize that there was actually blood all over the room because it's not something you expect to see there. So it's like she didn't even see it.
Well, if you're drunk, your brain is just trying to basically keep you alive and get you into your bed. That's all you're thinking. So, who knows what Dylan saw at the, and then... I'm surprised she remembers it because she was able to talk about it. So obviously she didn't black out.
Right. And again, we can't say what happened because I don't even know if she was drinking that night. I don't know. True. But I'm just saying it's like sometimes your brain doesn't put things together because it's not what you expect. She's in college. Could this be some sort of fraternity prank? Could this be a boy that was going to hang out with somebody in the house, and being, weird about it and it's a cold climate. Maybe people wear ski masks. I don't know.
Right.
But regardless, they don't feel that an earlier call would have saved any of the victims' lives. After she saw him, she didn't hear any movement in the house. She didn't hear anyone crying out. Odds are they were quickly deceased after he left.
I'm sure you're going to go into how they were killed and
yes.
everything. Okay.
At approximately 4 p.m. on the 13th, Sergeant Blaker from the Moscow PD responded to the home to process the crime scene. There was no sign of forced entry, so we don't exactly know, did he come through the front door? I'm not entirely sure about that, but he did not break into the house from what I've read.
Did they know if the doors were unlocked?
We do not know.
Okay.
Because we know that a DoorDash delivery was left on the porch at 4. Maybe they grabbed the bag of food and then forgot to lock the door behind them. Right. Who knows? So he entered the home on the bottom floor, walked upstairs to the second floor and down a hallway to Xana Kernodle's bedroom. Her body was laying on the floor with wounds that appeared to be caused by an edged weapon, something like a knife.
Knife, yeah.
Ethan was also in the same room. He was also deceased from sharp force injuries. Sergeant Blaker then made his way to the third floor that contained 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. In Kaylee's bedroom, officers found her dog, Murphy, that she shared with her ex-boyfriend. Thankfully, Murphy was unharmed. As they entered Maddie's room, they found both her and Kaylee deceased, again from visible stab wounds, just like Ethan and Xana. Mm-hmm. They located a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed right next to Maddie.
Wow, that's sloppy.
Yes. So it had stampings on the side of the leather.
Are they going to be initials?
It was, I don't know if it's a brand, but it's like KA-bar, B-A-R. And then the USMC insignia for the insignia is what I meant to say. And the United States Marine Corps Eagle, Globe, and Anchor stamped on the outside. The Idaho State Lab later found a single source of male DNA on the button snap of the knife sheath.
Male DNA, so it could have been blood or semen.
Some sort of DNA. It could have been skin. I don't know. Okay. But regardless, the murderer literally left the knife sheath next to Maddie's body with his DNA on it.
Looks like K-Bar is a brand.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, K-Bar. So they also found a latent shoe print that had diamond-shaped pattern similar to what would be on Van's shoe soles. Mm-hmm. It was on the outside door of Dylan's bedroom on the second floor, which is consistent with the statement about the path she said he took. So from the beginning, police believed, they said to the press, like just days later, that this was an isolated, targeted attack, but they didn't clarify why. And of course, the victims' parents are just beyond devastated.
Of course, they're out, in college and, they're getting into hijinks and all that stuff, but you hope the best for your kids, just like any other parents. And, you think safety in numbers, they're all here. And unfortunately, all 4 of them are deceased. Now, that's so odd that Dylan and Bethany
were fine.
Like,
Totally unharmed. He literally walked right past Dylan.
Do they have any idea who he went after first?
No.
Okay.
There's still a lot of unanswered questions because, again, this is still all coming out.
Yeah.
Nobody does selling better than Shopify. Shopify is the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts go abandoned and way more sales going through. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. On the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout that Skims uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period for 3 months at shopify.com/Westwood1, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Westwood1 to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
So they didn't clarify why they thought it was isolated and it was targeted. They later backtracked, and when I say later, it was like all quickly. They said that the statement was actually a miscommunication. They didn't know if any of the victims or the home had been specifically targeted. Then the following day, they released another statement saying that they did believe again that the attack was targeted since there were no signs of forced entry and 2 of the girls were left unharmed.
As these people need to get their shit together.
Again, they're all trying to get the investigation together.
Well, this is their job.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are kids. I get kids. Kids are going to make mistakes. This is the job of the police force. Get your shit together.
But, I mean, to me, they really did do a good job in total.
Okay.
But police obtained, from the get-go, they were starting to obtain video footage from the area in the early morning hours of Sunday, November 13th, from residential homes, businesses. They're gathering all this footage from the hours of 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Where the house is located and the time that was being reviewed, obviously very limited number of cars are just coming and going. Not many people are out and about on a Saturday night at 4 a.m. So it's not like they're combing through cars just passing by. So investigators began to notice a white sedan that was observed in this area passing the house multiple times.
That's your target right there.
There you go. It was starting at 3:29 in the morning and it ended at 4:20 a.m. right when they thought the murders happened. They thought between 4 and 4:25 a.m. So at 4:20 in the morning, the car was leaving the area of the house at a high rate of speed.
Okay.
Boom.
You got your person.
So the car did not have front license plates, which Idaho does. Like if you were an Idaho driver, you would have both front and back plates.
So good chance they're out of state.
Yeah. So based on the roads that the car traveled, police believe that the person was heading towards Pullman, Washington. Again, this is mountain towns. We don't live in the mountains, so there's cross streets everywhere. But when you're in the mountains, there's only so many roads because you're going through the mountains. So Pullman...
Does Washington require front license plates?
Washington, I believe, does not. No. I could be wrong, but I will clarify that later. Yeah. So they... were heading towards Pullman, Washington, which was about 10 miles from where this house was. And they believe that it could be in the direction of Washington State University because that's basically where Pullman, Washington is. So the footage was given to a forensic examiner, and this person determined that the car was a 2011 to a 2016 Hyundai Elantra.
Hey.
That's what we drive.
Yeah. Well, we have a 2018.
Yes. So. Well, I'm just saying the make and model. So they then, of course, are beginning to investigate. Okay, who in this area would be driving a white Hyundai Elantra between these years? So on November 17th, autopsies were done. They concluded that all 4 victims had been stabbed multiple times. It was likely that some of them were asleep when the attacks happened, but some also did have defensive wounds. There was no sign of sexual assaults. 20-year-old Ethan Chapin, he majored in recreation, sport, and tourism management. His memorial service was held on November 21st. He was a triplet, born right before his sister and brother, who also attended the University of Idaho. The siblings were very close. They were considered to be best friends, the 3 of them. They just did everything together.
That's nice.
His mom, Stacy, described him as one of the most incredible people you'll ever know. He laughed continuously. He smiled when he woke up, and he was still smiling when he went to bed. He was kind to all and a friend to all. He used to work at a tulip farm, which I saw pictures of. It was just incredibly beautiful. And after his death, a tulip was created in his honor by mixing both yellow and white tulips together. They planted thousands of them in Washington, and they sent thousands to be planted at the university campus.
That's nice.
The tulip was named Ethan Smile. The yellow was for the University of Idaho, and the white was because it's an eternal color. So I just thought that that was a nice tribute to him.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
And then his girlfriend, Xana Kernodle, she was described as an exceptionally focused student. She put school first. She was just driven. When she knew she wanted to get something done, she was going to get it done. She put dating second. So her family was thrilled. They thought, oh, she's never going to have a boyfriend.
You know, parents, they're always like looking for grandkids and like, well, you know, you should think about at least getting with somebody, you know?
Yeah. Her sister was talking. She's like, me and my dad were so happy. So her family was thrilled when she met Ethan and just saw how happy they were together when they started dating in the spring of 2022.
Sounds like a cute couple.
Steve Goncalves, I'm sorry, my bad, and his wife, Kaylee's mom, decided not to have a funeral. They feared that this person who murdered their baby girl would come out to the services, and they just did not want to risk that happening. In an interview with ABC News, he said, her dad, Steve, said, "You can't imagine sending your girl to college and they come back in an urn. You're numb. You cannot absorb that amount of pain and agony." Kaylee was the middle child of 5 siblings, and they described her as a highly motivated person, someone who was going places and always up for a challenge. She already had a job lined up in Austin for after graduation. Ultimately, she wanted to be wherever her best friend Maddie was going to be. The 2 of them were just like 2 peas in a pod.
Were they friends for a long time?
Yeah. So Kaylee's parents considered Maddie to be like a bonus child because they were so close, always together, inseparable since the 6th grade.
That's how it is for best friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like both of our kids have friends that are pretty much our kids also.
Yeah, and it's just amazing when you find like your person, someone that you could be with for like 24/7 and not get sick of them.
Yeah.
And it's such a bond. I mean, it's a special thing.
Yeah.
So, her dad was just remembering thinking, they went to high school together. Then they started looking at colleges together. They came here together. They eventually got into the same apartment. And in the end, they died together in the same room, in the same bed. Maddie's dad, Ben, said that she was his only child, someone who was a hard worker, nice, funny, beautiful. Maddie's boyfriend, Jake, said that she had a talent for just making people laugh. You could see she was like always making funny videos. Meanwhile, investigators were given access to video footage from WSU, Washington State University, and found the white Elantra to be exactly where they thought it was going. So they found footage at around 2:44 a.m. before the murders.
Okay.
On November 13th, that was consistent with the car seen at the crime scene.
That's pretty good police work.
Yes. At 2:53 a.m., the car was seen heading towards Moscow, Idaho. So all consistent with when he would have then gotten to the area where they then saw him.
So you've got to figure somebody that's particularly knows at least one of these girls,
right?
Or Ethan, or somebody, probably one of the girls.
They're all gorgeous, gorgeous girls.
Okay, so it's something online or Bumble or whatever, dating app or whatever it might be. I mean, the police have to have some suspects that they're working on. Absolutely.
So all of this is happening. There's so much going on behind the scenes, but Police want to keep everything close to their chest because
it's an ongoing investigation.
It's an ongoing investigation. In the meantime, the parents know nothing.
Well, you let Philip Myers know that you're looking for him. He's going to take off.
Of course.
Yeah, that's just a random name I made up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I totally get that. Of course. But at the same time, you just want this son of a bitch found.
Of course. But in the meantime, the parents are terrified that this is going to just be, called a cold case.
No, it won't be. This is something. This guy was sloppy.
He left the fucking sheath.
They're going to find this dude 100%. Within the next month or two, this dude will be found.
Okay, so meanwhile, investigators were given access. Okay, so I said this. So they're seeing this car exactly in the location where they thought they would find it. At approximately 5:25 a.m., the car was seen on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington. So this would have been back after the murders on the WSU campus.
This guy... They know exactly who this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on November 25th, 2022, area law enforcement was asked to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantra. On November 29th, 2022, WSU police officer Daniel Tango tracked white Elantras that had been registered at WSU and found a 2015 white Elantra with Pennsylvania plates that were registered to Brian Koberger.
Okay. Well, good job.
He lived in an apartment in Pullman, Washington, approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection where the last camera caught sight of his car. This same day, November 29th, WSU officer Curtis Whitman was on the lookout for the car and located this 2015 white Hyundai Elantra in the parking lot of an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman ran the plates that came back to Brian Koberger with Washington tags. With a Washington tag. The driver's license information and the photo were reviewed and indicated that he's 6 foot tall, 185 pounds. So if you'll remember, Dylan said he was somewhere around 5'10".
Wait, you said Washington tags or Pennsylvania tags?
He, at this point, has Washington tags.
Okay.
He had literally just switched over.
Switched them. Okay.
Yes. So he was a white male. His photo showed that, lo and behold, he has bushy eyebrows.
Okay.
His physical description is basically spot on, consistent with what Dylan provided.
Okay, so they got their guy.
Yes. So on further investigation, but of course, when this is happening, they want to get as much as they can solidly get before they make their move.
Yeah, they have to make sure that, because once he's found, everything's kind of off the table. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like everything comes to a pause. So they almost want to catch him doing something, or emailing about something, or tap his phones or
gather more evidence.
Yeah, they want to hear him saying to somebody I killed those girls or whatever. Do you want to get this guy so that the case against him is hard, a really nice case,
right? So on further investigation, they're looking all into this guy. He had turned out he had been pulled over at a traffic stop that was recorded on body camera on August 21st, 2022. Turns out this guy gets pulled over quite a bit. I mean, he must be a real shit driver. So he was pulled over in Moscow, Idaho. He was the sole occupant of this car. It was noted that he had Pennsylvania plates at this time. They were set to expire on November 30th. On October 14th, he was stopped again, this time by a WSU officer. Again, the sole occupant of the car. Again, he had Pennsylvania plates.
So he's making trips between Idaho and WSU.
Yeah, and again, it is a short drive. It's 10 miles, I think I said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's...
So these two colleges probably party together.
I would assume so.
Okay.
Yeah. So on November 18th, he received Washington plates because, again, the Pennsylvania ones were set to expire. They require front and back plates to be displayed versus Pennsylvania ones, which only require the back plates. So
the murders happened to the 13th.
Yes.
He got new license plates
the 30th.
On the 30th or 18th, actually.
I'm sorry, yes, the 18th. So just 5 days later.
Okay.
So on December 13th, 2022, this same car was captured in Loma, Colorado. So now he's moving about. And later again in Hancock County, Indiana on December 15th. And then finally in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania on December 16th.
What a dumbass.
It was later discovered, but again, this is right around the holidays. This is right before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That we're looking Thanksgiving, Christmas. So this is now before Christmas. It was later discovered that Brian and his dad took a pre-planned cross-country trip together. They traveled about 2,500 miles, basically starting in the Idaho area, Washington, all the way across the country to Pennsylvania.
So his parents live in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Okay, and they plan to drive home for the holidays.
Yes. And, Brian was raised in Pennsylvania. So during the trip, he was pulled over twice on December 15th, east of Indianapolis. The first time for following a van too closely, he was tailgating. And then only 9 minutes later, he was pulled over by another officer for speeding.
You got to picture, to be able to be pulled over for tailgating, you have to be really aggressively tailgating.
Yes.
Like, we've all kind of been close to other cars, but, like, he must have some kind of a, like...
road rage type of deal?
Yeah, road rage. Absolutely.
Yeah. So both times that he was pulled over, you could see the body cam footage. But at the time, there was no information that would have led to his arrest. So these officers are pulling him over not knowing a thing about what was going on.
Why would they? Yeah.
No, they wouldn't. So both times they were released with a verbal warning. Based on information through the WSU website, police discovered that Kohberger is a 28-year-old PhD student in criminology at WSU. He has an undergraduate degree in psychology and cloud-based forensics. He's also a teaching assistant at WSU, and he had been a student there since August.
Well, I want to hear about his connection with these girls.
So records also show that he wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman PD in the fall of 2022. So he was very interested, obviously, in police and crimes and all of that. Mm-hmm. In his essay, he wrote that he had an interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. He also posted a Reddit survey asking participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. So basically, what the mindset of somebody is, when they're thinking about committing a crime, which
for his own
knowledge.
Yeah.
A college classmate of Kohberger described him as someone who was comfortable around others and eagerly participated in class. He did notice, though, that after the murders, Kohberger looked tired and disheveled and seemed chattier than usual. Like he was kind of nervous chatter, perhaps.
Interesting. So, you definitely get the lack of sleep thing because you just killed some people and took their lives because you're an absolute piece of shit. But the chatty thing, interesting. Just general nervousness of being caught. Probably always looking over his shoulder,
right.
looking for
I'm
cops.
sure he was just waiting. And you can't tell me he didn't realize that his knife sheath had been left behind, you stupid asshole.
Thank God you're a stupid asshole.
People from high school said that he was an overweight kid, which is interesting because if you see him in his, news footage, he's very thin. So they said he got bullied a lot, but in the beginning of senior year, classmates noted that he had drastically changed. He lost at least 100 pounds, almost unrecognizable, rail thin. So he went from being overweight to extremely thin. At this point, people claim that he had started to become a bully himself and more aggressive. He also began using drugs. Specifically, what I read was heroin.
Oh, wow. That's major league.
Yeah, and I do know he also became a vegan, so, whatever.
Well, you want to go vegan, but you're okay with injecting heroin.
Well, I don't know at what point that happened, but he did get clean from the drugs. I don't know how long he was using.
I apologize to any vegans who are currently using heroin. If that's your thing, go for it. Just not too much because, it's bad for you.
Yeah, heroin's not so good. So he did get into recovery. He became sober, and then that's where he started to put his focus onto criminology studies. At what point he became vegan, I don't know. So only months before the murders, Kohberger was interviewed by the then chief of the Pullman PD, Gary Jenkins, about a research assistantship for a public safety position in April of 2022. It's not clear if he was ever offered this position. Search warrants are then being obtained for cell phones. So they wanted to utilize the cell phones in close proximity to the house on King Road.
Triangulation.
Exactly. On November 13th between 3 and 5 a.m. Kohberger's phone did not utilize cell towers in close proximity to the house between these hours. It's assumed, obviously, knowing what he was coming out there to do, he either shut his phone off or he left it at home or wherever.
Okay.
But history shows that criminals often survey this area where they're going to go and commit a crime before they actually do it.
100%.
During those times, they're not planning on committing the crime. They take their phones with them. They don't turn them off.
Smart.
So now, on December 23rd, they're getting search warrants to look at the records
previous
as well. So this is all happening around this time. So they were looking specifically, though, now they're looking for the day before the crimes. November 12th at 12 a.m. and November 14th. So they're looking between those times, 24 hours before and after the murders. Records show that on 2:47 a.m. on the 13th, which was the morning of the murders, Kohberger left his apartment complex. So they know he's on the move. Of course, they saw the car on the footage.
Right.
But they're just wanting to tie that this is the car they saw.
Yeah, you can't say necessarily. You know it was a white Hyundai Elantra.
Right.
You don't know it was his.
So they're tying what they saw with the car to the cell phone. So it's all falling into place. So they saw that he left his apartment complex via the cell phone. It moved in a consistent manner of what the video surveillance showed the white Elantra on the night of the murders. The phone stopped reporting to the network almost immediately. So he basically left his apartment complex and shut it off.
Got it.
It did not return to the network until 4:48 a.m., which would have been consistent. They saw him speed away from the home at 4:20 in the morning. He powered his phone back on at 4:48 a.m., in which time it utilized the network south of Moscow near Blaine, Idaho, until it traveled back to his apartment complex at 5:27 a.m. The movement is consistent with exactly what was seen on the surveillance. So further review showed that he was in the location of the King Road house only 5 hours after he had killed the victims that morning. He was over in that area between 9:12 and 9:21 a.m. My guess is he went back to see if there was any police activity happening yet. So now they're getting search warrants for further footage here.
Still, that doesn't incriminate him at all.
No. So now they're getting, for December 23rd, they're looking at records that go from June 23rd, so summertime, to the present time, to see if he was scoping the area out beforehand, perhaps stalking one of the victims. So they saw that his cell phone was in the area of the King Road home at least 12 times during this time. And every single time except for one, it was always the late evening or early morning, like creeping hours.
Okay.
So he was definitely had his sights set on that house. They didn't say when he started going, but at least 12 times he went beforehand.
Okay.
So on December 27th, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from his parents' home. Of course, they're looking for DNA. They're in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania.
It's kind of cool how they can do that. You know, it's trash, so it's technically like public access. Mm-hmm. It's out and available for anybody.
Yep.
So you don't need a search warrant to go through that.
Nope. So the next day, the lab reported that the DNA from the trash that was obtained from the knife sheath, I have a hardest time saying that word, identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect with 99.9998% certainty.
So
the knife matched the garbage from his parents' house.
Yeah.
It was his dad's DNA that they tested.
Huh.
With that, an arrest warrant. Now they're like, all right, we're moving in on the son of a bitch. So it was requested on December 29th. They requested this arrest warrant. So a neighbor of Kohberger, he, in the DNA, they're talking about that. He remembers having a conversation with him, and he had said that he had submitted his DNA for genetic testing months before the murder. So I'm sure his DNA is also out there. But he said that just, while they were talking, he said, yeah, and you know what? He actually brought up the murders to me in a conversation.
Getting off on it.
Yeah, he said, have you heard about it? He said it seemed like there were no leads and that it was probably a crime of passion. That's what he told his neighbor.
Proudly.
So he was arrested on December 30th, the day after they obtained the warrant for his arrest. He was arrested at his parents' Pennsylvania Pocono Mountain home in the early morning hours for 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary.
Could you imagine being parents and sitting there at Christmas time, New Year's, and just hanging out with your son, and then all of a sudden cops come in, and it's like, we're arresting your son for 4 counts of murder. They're like, no, it couldn't be right. No. Yeah,
right.
I wonder if his parents have said anything. Probably not.
No, they have. They've expressed their deepest condolences and their apologies to, not even apologies, but more condolences. They think that they're going to find justice, that their son is not responsible for this.
Not a fucking chance. Keep dreaming. I mean, I can't imagine how that would feel, but you got to see reality as well. I
can't imagine. That's what actually I was talking to my coworker about yesterday, just how devastating it could be. We talked about this in our last episode. to find out that your child could be capable of going into a home and slaughtering 4 kids to death.
Yeah.
How is the child I raised capable of such a thing?
Well, I just hope that they, Pennsylvania, there's a lot of money in Pennsylvania. So I hope they don't hire some hotshot lawyer that can get him off on some little thing.
I can't imagine how. But he was arrested, like I said, and then on January 3rd, during his court appearance in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, he agreed to be extradited to Idaho. He was moved the following day on January 4th. He made his first court appearance in Moscow on the 5th as Kaylee's parents sat there staring him down as he wore his bright orange jumpsuit with no shackles. As charges were read for each victim, the judge said that each was stabbed and murdered with premeditation, with malice and forethought. As their child's name was read, each family member was overcome with grief. Koberger chose to have a court-appointed attorney. Then classes at the University of Idaho campus, they came back January 11th. Ethan's 2 siblings also returned at this date. They said that about 1/4 of the students chose not to return and to do the rest of their semester remotely.
Wow.
Which,
were they all scared or out of support of their fellow
I'm
students?
sure it was traumatic because it's one of those things this could happen to any of us.
Could have been any of those houses. Somebody could have just walked in and killed anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was discovered that, as they're trying to figure out who was he focused on, it was discovered that Brian had eaten at the Mad Greek restaurant in Moscow where Maddie and Xana both worked. He had eaten there at least twice before the murders that they just can even remember and pin him down to. They were servers there at the Mad Greek, but they don't know for sure if they waited on him when he ate there.
So they're trying to find a connection. That's the only one they can find so far.
Not yet. There's a little bit more, just a little bit more.
Okay. I know there's a lot more that the police know.
I'm sure a lot more, but this is what I know.
Right.
And what's out there. So somebody was interviewed. They said, he ordered a vegan pizza both times that he was there. Nothing suspicious seemed anything about him. But he did stand out in the fact that he really examined his food, making sure it didn't come into any kind of cross-contamination with animal products. That's just how he remembered this guy, this person that was being, talked to. There was also another connection that he has now deleted Instagram account also show that he once followed Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana. They did not follow him back. In late October, he sent a message to one of the victims. So we don't know which one. When they didn't respond back, he sent several more messages. It's not yet clear if the victim even viewed the messages or were even aware of his existence.
I'm sure they read the messages or whatever, but so we don't know who he sent it to or what it said.
We do not know. They said that the review of the messages didn't indicate that he was getting frustrated or seemed angry about the lack of response.
It didn't seem like he...
It did not.
Okay. And I mean, the police know one way or another whether these were read or looked at and not viewed as read. Because on Instagram, you can pull things down and kind of see what people say generally and just chose not to actually click into it, Mm-hmm. So that's interesting.
So they said he didn't seem, to be getting angry or anything, but he was very persistent, is what they posted.
Well, yeah, because he's a psychopath.
A search of Brian's office in the Department of Criminal Justice and Criminology found nothing. Then nothing was seized from there, but they did go to his apartment and police found multiple things. They found a single black disposable glove, like a nitrite type glove, 8 possible...
Like the ones that cooks wear.
Yeah, I got it. Almost like a medical rubber glove, but black.
Yeah.
8 possible hair strands, a single possible animal hair strand. And again, remember that Kaylee had her dog there. So if that matches...
That's good. I mean, not good, but yeah, they have more information that he was there.
To tie him to that scene.
Yeah.
Not that, to me, the DNA on the knife sheath that was found next to Maddie's body,
pretty
the
damning.
fact that his car... is consistent with the cell phone tracking.
And I imagine he's pleading. Is there pleads yet? Or whatever?
I'll keep reading.
Okay.
So they found, other possible hairs. They found a computer tower. So maybe they'll find, more specific information on that. They're expecting that there's got to be a lot of blood that he was covered in when he left, because the scene was just horrific at the scene of the crime. So of course they're looking for blood at the place, at the apartment.
Clothes, looking at everything.
They did find a dark red spot, 2 cuttings from uncased pillows with reddish brown stains, and mattress covers with multiple stains. So, hopefully this will solidify more DNA, that it's a locked and loaded,
please God,
open and closed.
Please God, find somebody's DNA on his stuff. Yeah.
At Kohberger's status hearing on January 12th, he waived his right to a speedy trial, which would have set his preliminary hearing within 14 days. His attorney is wanting more time to review all of the evidence, and the preliminary hearing is now scheduled for June 26th. He has not yet entered a plea.
Okay.
In the meantime, he's being held at the Latah County Jail. Public defender Ann Taylor will be representing Kohberger, which is interesting because she previously represented the father and stepmother of Maddie Mogen, as well as Xana Kernodle's mom. Court documents show that she literally dropped Xana's mom as a client on January 5th, which is the same day she took on Kohberger's case. She was representing Xana's mom on drug charges.
Ah, okay. Wait, how is that even allowed?
So,
isn't there a conflict of interest?
That's what I would think. And they did say because she has ties to the victims' families, concerns have been raised, but nothing has changed. She is still his attorney. So students at the University of Idaho, they've launched a fundraiser. They're selling bracelets on the UI website in honor of the murder victims. They're hoping that they can raise money with a goal of building a permanent memorial on campus for the victims. So that's basically where we stand at this point in time with this whole case.
That's absolutely. The victims should be remembered. No doubt about it. Yeah, I'm sure they'll figure something out. But
they went to school there. They played a huge role on the campus. That's where they spent like 4 years of their lives. And that's where their lives sadly ended tragically.
Yeah. And now we have to wait till like June?
End of June.
Well, I mean, it gives the police a lot of time to bring all this stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
I bet they can nail it. Now, the only thing that worries me is this Brian guy knew his way around criminology and stuff. I hope that he didn't delete things, but again, yeah, he seems pretty sloppy.
He seems like exceptionally sloppy. There's so many things. It's not even just the fact that he left his own DNA on the knife sheath there, but the fact that you had to have known your car would have been seen right there. He was like circling back and forth in front of the house at least 3 to 4 times.
Yeah. Like everybody knows nowadays there's cameras everywhere.
It's 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Like we see your car.
There's a good amount of security on most campuses, cameras everywhere. You have those towers that, you can press if there's any emergencies or whatever.
But we know that all businesses and homes have cameras.
Yeah.
So I don't think, as much as he was like smart going to school to be a PhD in criminology, he seemed like a real idiot to me.
Yeah, street smarts, not so much.
Thankfully that he was.
And thank God, thank God he chose not to kill Dylan or Bethany.
Right.
That's amazing.
Which is amazing. And I don't mean to put any shade on Dylan about the whole 911 thing, because I can't imagine the trauma those 2 girls must be living through, to think that a murderer came into their home in the middle of the night and just destroyed all of their friends, and somehow they were left to survive.
And then now they have this guilt, I'm sure. And
Bethany slept through the whole thing. She heard not a thing because she was on the bottom floor.
Yeah.
And, my heart goes out to Dylan.
I'm so curious how Brian knew everybody and why he, targeted them, left the others. Like there had to be something there.
They did not mention that he was friends with Bethany or Dylan on Instagram. They specifically named the other
Maddie,
3.
Kaylee, Xana.
And
anything about Ethan?
Just so happened to be there.
Collateral.
He was in the room with Xana.
Gosh, and yeah, of course, anybody there you're gonna get in harm's way with. And I can't, they got to have found some kind of DNA somewhere.
Well, again, they seized all the stuff from his apartment. There might, like I said, if they find the victim's blood in his apartment, I mean, that's the end of it.
Open and shut.
There's nothing else you could say.
Well, you could say that, yeah, I knew them. They came over sometimes, and they bled on my
blood.
Yeah, well, they bled on my sheets or what? I don't know. Yeah.
There's absolutely no evidence to believe that those girls knew him. They weren't friends with him on Instagram. He followed them.
Good point. Great point.
So there's no reason why those girls should have ever been in his apartment.
I mean, any jury is going to be like, this guy's done. Yeah. Good.
No.
Nice try, asshole.
Yeah.
See you later.
So I know it's the whole innocent until proven guilty, but
guilty. So
in my book,
Brian Koberger's guilty, and he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And just looking at his eyes online just give me the chills down my back to think that such a monster could exist.
And his bullshit bushy eyebrows.
His bullshit bushy eyebrows. And then they throw in, and they're adhering to his vegan diet in the jail. It's like, well, good for Brian. Like,
I'm so glad they're taking good care of him.
I'm glad you're cared for.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure it's absolute bottom of the rung vegetables and things. Like he's going to get canned green beans.
Shitty ass green beans.
Here's some canned green beans every single day.
It's vegan.
Yeah, and enjoy the extra sodium. And I hope you dehydrate and die. Shitbag. So, all right. Well, thank you for telling us and updating us. I had no idea about this whole thing. So we did have a lot of people suggesting it. So
yeah,
hopefully Allison did an all right job there.
I hope so.
And the victims deserve everything.
Yeah, my heart goes out to them, to their families. Oh, just tragic. It made me sick.
Yeah. So, well, I want to say thanks to everybody for listening. If you like what you hear and you want more episodes, I think we have like 18 bonus episodes now. So maybe even 19?
It's climbing.
Yeah. Every other week we release another bonus episode. If you're a level 2 patron, you get all of them. If you're a level 1 patron, you get one per month. So just want to shout out to our patrons over here. Colleen, Lily, Karen, Nadine, Allie, Michael, Kayla, Dominic, Brian, Shannon, Elizabeth, Mandy, Alana, Vivian, Trisha, Lauren, Megan, Jamie, Chastity, Elizabeth, Emily, Kathy, Ava, Jovi, Eileen, Misty, Rochelle, Destiny, Ellie, Sherry, Melanie, Bettina, Rebecca, Gabrielle, Angela, Sabrina, Sandra, Taylor, Dana, Allison, Ashley, Mindy, Sandy, Justine, Lauren, Heather, Louise, Jasmine, and Bex.
You guys are awesome.
That's 49, man. Who wants to be the 50th? Go ahead, sign up. You're going to be number 50.
Maybe you'll get a prize, like a balloon.
This is new to me.
Something.
We don't have balloons.
We don't. I'm sorry. We don't have balloons.
We're going to figure something out someday, though. So people want these coffee bugs.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I said that our sister-in-law made them, but you did. So
no, Mike. Oh, there's so much confusion here.
Oh no, you made the T-shirts.
Yes.
I forget. My brain doesn't work.
It's okay. I still love you.
Thank you. So thanks so much for listening. We appreciate it. And tell all your friends and neighbors.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. And until next time. Bye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.